going to stand up, and we'll stand up. We'll do a couple of standing things, but I'm not really sure about how much like chaturanga flowing kind of stuff I feel like I want to toss in there. But like, of course, if you want to do it, you're certainly welcome to do it. If that's what you need this morning. I'm at my folks' house right now in their yard, and the grass underneath me is kind of wet. And yeah, I'm just going to do my best here to do what needs to be done to show y'all what to do. So anyway, I'm thinking that we don't have any specific use for props today, but it might be kind of nice just to have like a block around, you know, just in case. And yeah, if you want to start your music now, it might be, well, what time is it? Let me see here. It's 9:30. So let's do it. Let's do this thing. I think it's time. You can start your music before coming to lie down. And if you want to take a restorative bridge pose to get started, that's always kind of a nice way to begin, I think. At least in my own personal practice recently, I've been finding real value in starting off in that really relaxed pose with the psoas getting a little bit of a stretch, because I feel like when I find more space in the low belly and the hips, it gives me more of a chance to feel like less rushed. Yeah, good. All right, so getting yourself here to your practice. And here in your practice, there is no need for perfection. There is no need for expectations. This is just time for you to address things as they currently are in this moment. Good. No pressure to perform or achieve, but rather just to observe and breathe. Good. And with that bit of observance and emphasis on the quality of your breath, beginning to calm your nervous system a little bit here in this restorative bridge pose, block underneath your pelvis. And I'd like to read you a really long poem this morning. I was thinking about patience quite a bit this morning as, oh man. Full disclosure, I'm in New York and New Jersey, and as I take my walks around the back roads and drive around and just see the staggering number of Trump signs, I'm feeling like extremely disheartened as I interact with family members who hold opposing views from mine. I feel disheartened, and I want things to change like now. Yeah, like I want things to be different for them right now. And I'm recognizing that, you know, that's just like an urge, right? This immediacy that really conflicts with my desire to remember that nothing can be forced. And so just finding that patience muscle and tuning inward a little bit. Right, and this poem is called For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet. It's by Joy Harjo. Right, she wrote, put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door, then close it behind you. Take a breath offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars' ears and back. Acknowledge this earth who has cared for you since you were a dream, planting itself precisely within your parents' desire. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been there without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial insecure jitters. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way, though there may be high rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey might take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor. Call your spirit back. It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and human abuse. You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Ooh, your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go. Make a giveaway and remember, keep the speeches short. Then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark. Good. All right, so thank you for bearing with that long poem. Take a moment to just take maybe a few more deep breaths here. They don't have to be the biggest breaths ever, but just breaths where you are here with them. You're really listening, feeling them. Good. And then at your own pace, just begin to lift your hips up and remove the block if you have that there underneath you. Yeah, and just any kind of intuitive movement. So you might bring your knees into your chest. I know after a restorative bridge, that's pretty much where I want to go. Maybe there's a little rocking going on. Let's see if just for now you can stay with this moment. Maybe just for now, the next thing isn't the most important thing. Good, and in this moment, calling yourself here, calling yourself back with that kind voice. Good. Right, taking a couple more breaths. Right, and then from here on your back, just begin to bring the soles of both of your feet to the floor if they're not already there. And let's take the hands behind the head, interlace those fingers, Hi, Jennifer. And begin to lift your upper body away from the floor. So it's almost as if it's like a tiny little, oh God, I hate to use the word crunch. I feel like that's really not what I'm trying to emphasize here. But just a tiny engagement of the muscles of the core of your body. Notice the way your feet touch the floor. Good. A few big breaths. Good. And then go ahead and set your head and shoulders back down. And we're just going to take that left leg and extend it out kind of long. You're going to keep the sole of your right foot on the floor, but extend that left leg long and sort of float it here. And so connecting again to the strength at your lower belly. Good. See if you can keep your jaw relaxed as you keep that left leg floating. And as you float the left leg, you might roll the ankle around a little bit here. You feel stabilized by that right foot pressing into the floor. Good. And then we're going to take that left ankle and cross it over the right knee. It's a figure 4. Where you might stay with your right foot on the ground, or you could pull that right thigh up and towards your chest in your figure 4. Good. You're taking a few moments to maybe rock side to side again, if that feels right to you, to play with the distance of that right thigh to the rest of you. But settling in, settling in. Let's take 10 nice breaths. This idea of calling yourself back, which is always such a challenge, right? Yet another thing that takes practice. Yet another thing that takes some patience with ourselves. Remembering that being scattered is easy. Coming back can be hard. Good. Let's take a few more breaths here. Noticing how your sacrum feels on the floor, your glutes and those tiny little muscles underneath them, those deep 6 muscles. Good. Wonderful. Yeah. And then as you feel ready, unwind the legs and maybe stretch out into a starfish pose for a few moments, which is just you taking up space on the floor, your legs and arms long, arms reaching out, feet are open nice and wide, apart from each other. Good. Notice the breath in the center of your belly. Your breath strong. Your breath full. Good. And remembering the power of your breath and the way it can really shape your experience of things. We have a little bit of control over it. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and pull the knees in towards the chest. Good. Take your head or take your hands and interlace them and bring your hands behind your head. And then go ahead and lift the head and shoulders away from the floor again, if that works for you. So knees to chest, picking up the head and shoulders, forehead towards the knees. Good. And I just want to offer up a little bit of time for some core activity. If you're feeling it, you might extend one of your legs long and then the other leg out long. Maybe you want to stay with your knees to the chest. Maybe you want to bring your head down to the floor, and that's great too. Right? It's totally up to you. Nice. Beautiful, everybody. Just a few more breaths here with that movement or that stillness. Great. And then we'll take the soles of the feet back down to the floor. And this time that left foot is going to stay plugged in, and extend that right leg out long so that it's hovering over the floor just by like an inch or two. Good. You might rotate that ankle around a few times. Wonderful. Point and flex the foot. Get a sense of how the arch is feeling and how your ankle is feeling. Perfect. Just a few more breaths. Connection to the core. Right, and then go ahead and draw that leg back in, cross the ankle over the knee. Perfect, right ankle over left knee, and then your figure four shape for 10 breaths or so. And any variation of this. Yeah, you could extend that, that left foot up towards the ceiling perhaps, or maybe you want to keep it bent and easy going. Rocking or stillness. I just like to think of the poses as like little mini experiments in managing our own energy, right? Beginning with our physical body, but then everything that's underneath it is touched by it too. And really looking lovingly upon yourself, within yourself. Calling yourself back from expectations right to your own experience. Right, a few more deep breaths. Right, and then from here, just taking both of your feet back down to the floor, and take a little bit of time to find hands and knees, which might involve you rocking along your spine or rolling to your side to sit up, and then find hands and knees. Good. Man, and it's a nice, easygoing class when 18 minutes in and we're just getting off our backs, yeah? So as you find your hands and knees, I want you to breathe wrong. And what I mean by that is I want you to breathe in as you're rounding your back. And then I want you to breathe out as you're dropping your belly. Taking your cats and cows with the breathing like the opposite of what you normally would do. Maybe this is what you normally do, actually. I don't know. Yeah, but just a little bit of time here. Breathing in, rounding the back, feeling those vertebrae get a little bit of space, extra space because you're breathing in. And then breathing out. Yeah, dropping that belly down, looking up. Good. Maybe taking the head and neck around in a couple of circles as you breathe in and out. If there's a lot of inner fierceness today that feels like it needs an outlet. I use that term fierceness because it has a lot of other names too, but fierceness sounds the best. Yeah, if you're feeling that internal like, rawr, take a lion's breath, stick your tongue out. Give it some place to go. And conversely, if you're maybe low on the fierceness today, a lion's breath can build that for you too. Good, a couple more breaths here. And then just intuitive movements of your choice. Breathing the way your body is asking to be breathed right now. Good, a few more breaths. Good. Alrighty, and then we're gonna come back to neutral on hands and knees. And again, we're gonna kind of breathe wrong here and a little weird. So let's exhale as you kick that right leg behind you. And then inhale to bring the knee to the nose. Exhale, kick that right leg nice and long behind. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, right leg long behind you. Inhale, knee to nose. And keep this going at your own pace here, maybe 5 more. Good, big inhale. Big exhale, kick that leg long and then open through that hip a little bit, stacking the right hip on top of the left. Both hands can stay on the floor. Or you can lift that right hand up if you're feeling it. Yeah, a little half moon, half moon. Good, and then go ahead and just set the hand down, set the knee down, and let's shift it back into child's pose from here. Good, and as you find your child's pose, rock your head from side to side. Let your jaw and your tongue soften. Let your breathing be soft as well. No need to force anything big. Good. Good. A deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. On your inhale, rise back up onto hands and knees. And this time we're going to send that left leg out long as you breathe out. Inhale, bring the knee to the nose. Really round that back. Good. And just move through this. Let's take like 8 or 9 of these at your own pace. Building this connection to the center of you. Good. Allowing the back body to open. The belly and the leg to become strong. Good. A deep breath in. Big breath out. Good. And then once you find that left leg back behind you again, stack the hips. That left hand could stay down, or you might begin to lift it up towards the sky. Perfect. Eventually go ahead and set yourself back down. Left hand to the ground, left knee touches. Let's shift back into child's pose one more time here. Good. Yeah, or if you prefer a puppy pose, that might also feel nice. Good. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Perfect. And from here, we're going to make our way into a standing forward fold, and it might make sense to press back into downward dog, or maybe you just want to bring yourself right into that standing forward fold. That's great too. Good, and then take a little bit of time to bring the feet to a comfortable distance. Good, maybe soften those knees a touch. Let the head and neck drop down. Good, and I'm gonna suggest a gentle sway from side to side here, maybe even taking your fingertips to graze the floor. Good, and if it's okay with your shoulders and your wrists, you might take your hands behind you and interlace them and press your knuckles up towards the ceiling or the sky overhead. Good. Go ahead and release the arms if they are behind you, and then inhale to come all the way up. And let's find a mountain pose. And just take a moment here in your mountain pose. Good. All right, feel your feet on the floor. Good, and then maybe we'll take a little like thunder mountain pose, which is essentially you just taking your hands to your hips and like stomping your feet. Give them a good stomp. Yeah, feel your heels really press down and connect. As you do this, you might take some forceful exhales. Good, and then coming back through, bringing both feet down, lightly touching them down, nice and soft, mountain pose. Good. As you exhale, take your hands overhead, bring your palms together. Inhale, take the hands to the heart. And then exhale, circle those arms down, around, up. Palms touch, inhale, hands to the heart. And let's keep this going. Breathing out as you circle the arms and reach up. Inhale, hands to the heart. Breathe out. Breathe in. 3 more. And 1 more. Good, and now we're gonna add on. So breathe out, circle those arms up, palms press. As you inhale, lift that left knee. Hands to heart, knee to hip. Exhale, and bring that foot back down slowly. Touch it to the ground as your hands touch together. Inhale, hands to the heart, right knee lifts. Exhale, the hands come back around and down. Slowly place that foot down. Hands touch at the same time. Inhale, left foot lifts. Exhale, the hands circle down, that foot lowers. Inhale, right knee up. Exhale. Let's keep this going at your own pace. Patient with yourself. Patient with your sense of timing and balance. Calling yourself back to your center. If you get a little shaky, if you get a little off on your timing, it's okay. Always just come back. Get what part of the breath you're supposed to be doing, it's okay. Just keep it moving. Nobody is perfect. Maybe 3 or 4 more rounds here. Good, everybody. Yeah. The next time you find your hands together at your heart, both of your feet on the floor. Let's stand here in Samasthiti, equal standing. Your collarbones broad, your heart lifts, and then maybe like a tiny little back bend here, just a little something. Woo! Spreading your fingers nice and wide, head drops back, and then exhale, fold yourself forward. Good, head heavy towards the ground. Good, roll those shoulders around. Good. Right, as you inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat and just come back through a flow that makes sense to you. Maybe you want to find hands and knees for some cats and cows. Maybe you want to take a downward dog and chaturanga and all that. It's 100% up to you. And just taking time for movement if you see fit. Stillness if that's what you wish. Kneading back in a child's pose. Low to the ground. Good, keeping yourself connected. Good. Last couple breaths. Beautiful. Right, and then eventually we're going to make our way back into that standing forward fold. And you can be wherever on the mat. There's no expectation of top or bottom or wherever. So as you find that standing forward fold, this time take your feet a little bit wider, maybe about as wide as your mat, and point your toes out. And just see what happens as you fold forward from this. Yeah. And again, thinking of this as like a little bit of time for experimentation. You might notice some discomfort in the hips or the legs as you turn the toes out. Good, or maybe it feels great. So as long as you're not experiencing anything like sharp or like electrical feeling, just stay here for a few moments. Good. Take that right hand down to the floor, the ground, peel that left arm open, deeply bend the right knee. Take your standing little twist here. Good. Bring your left hand down to the ground or floor, deeply bend that left knee, the right arm reaches up. Good, and then bring that right hand down to the ground, and we're just gonna take a little squat here. And the squat can look like anything. Maybe your hips are at the level of your knees, or maybe your hips sink down, your elbows press into your inner knees. It's okay if your heels pick up and away from the floor. Good, but just a few moments to observe your joints in the lower body. Good, what do your ankles feel like this morning? How do your knees feel? And then of course your hips, which you're getting a lot of this pose. Good, we'll take the right hand down to the ground, reach the left fingertips up, a little bitty twist. You might actively press your right triceps into the inner right knee. Good, and then go ahead and bring that left hand down and just switch it out, pressing the left elbow into the inner left knee, right hand lift. Good, go ahead and set yourself back down and then unwind out of this, coming back into your standing fold. Let's heel toe the feet back into kind of a more narrow stance, just under your hip sockets. Breathe in, lift up halfway, palms onto the thighs, knees or shins. and then a little shake. So sending your hips from this side to that side. Good. Notice the hamstrings and the back of the knees. And see if you can keep your heels pretty plugged into the floor as you like wag your tail a little bit. Good. If you want to add on, extend those arms forward or out to the sides. Good. Go ahead and fold yourself down again and shake your head out. Good. A big breath in brings you all the way up. Reach nice and tall. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Breathe out, reach your arms up, palms pressed together. Inhale, hands to the heart, knee lifts, left knee lifts. Yeah. Hold yourself here for a moment. And then we're gonna take a tree pose. So your tree pose could be you opening your knee to the side. Maybe your toes come to the ground. Or your left foot could tuck into your right thigh or calf. Great, hold yourself here for a moment. Do whatever needs to be done with your arms. Maybe 5 breaths or so. Good, and then go ahead and just bring the hands to the heart, bring the knee up. Good. Exhale, bring the arms around and up to meet, the foot drops down. Inhale, hands to the heart. Samasthiti, equal standing. Feel both of your feet on the ground for the next 3 breaths. Yeah, nice, everybody. Good. As you exhale, bring those arms down and around and up. Inhale, other knee comes up to the chest, hands to the heart. Yeah, and then finding a tree kind of position for yourself. Maybe that right knee just pops out to the side, or you could bring those toes down. Yeah, plant the foot on the inner left leg somewhere. Good. Doing a thing with the arms that feels balancing for you. It'll be a little different for all of us probably. Good, feeling your inner thigh pressing into the foot, if your foot's connected to it. Woo! And preferably looking at something that's not moving too much. Keep you steady. Good, a few more big breaths in and out here. Good, and then go ahead and bring the hands together at the heart. Bring your knee back in towards your chest. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, circle those arms, slowly lower the foot, hands come to touch overhead. Yeah, bring your hands back down to your heart. All right, I wanna add in an optional chair pose if you're feeling like a little bit of glute and leg strengthening. So deeply bending both of your knees. You can sweep those arms up or bring your hands to your heart. We'll be here for like 5 breaths, not forever, but just long enough to feel like we're using our lower body a little. Good. Nice. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and fold yourself forward over 2 long legs. Yeah, and a moment here in your standing forward fold, you can choose to stay here, or you can choose to go through a vinyasa if you want to do that this morning. Come to hands and knees for some cats and cows. Remembering that there's really no wrong way to approach your practice. It's always just what you need. Good, a few more breaths. Yeah, and maybe you hung out in your standing forward fold, and that's great. If you move through some other poses, bring yourself back up to standing forward fold, maybe over the course of the next 5 breaths. Good. As you find your standing forward fold, drop the head way down, and you might even tug at the hair on the top of your head for a breath or two. Really beautiful. And then very slowly start to roll yourself all the way up to standing. Reach those arms nice and high. On your inhale, hands come together at the heart. Right, and we're gonna add a little bit more onto the cloud salute here. So let's breathe out. Circle those arms around and up to touch. Inhale, that left knee comes in towards the heart, hands to the heart. And then exhale, warrior 3. Extend that left leg nice and long behind you. Good. See if you can find some balance. It might make sense to take both of your hands down to the ground too. And then there's a half moon practice if y'all are into it. Yeah, stacking that left hip on top of the right, reaching that left hand up. Just breathe however you need to here. Good, and then eventually go ahead and set that left foot back down at the top of the mat. Fold yourself forward. Maybe take a little squat. Sometimes the squat's so nice after all of that. Perfect. Wonderful. And then your choice, moving back into your standing forward fold and hanging there for a while, rolling through a vinyasa. Yeah, any kind of balancing movements in the middle. The choice is always yours. Sometimes stretching back into down dog is really nice. Good, a few breaths here. Good, and then very slowly breathe out. Lift yourself all the way up from standing forward fold. Exhale, exhale, hands touch overhead. Inhale, hands to the heart. Good, exhale, drop those arms down. This time, inhale, bring the right knee in towards the chest. Good, and then switching into your maybe balance pose, your warrior 3 type of thing, sending that right leg behind you. Yeah, you can keep your chest lifted here. Maybe you're bringing your hands down to the ground. Maybe opening through the hip into your half moon pose. Beautiful. Eventually, let's all come into a standing forward fold again with super soft knees. Just kind of shaking those hips from side to side a little bit. Good, drop the head way down. Great, inhale, halfway lift, palms onto shins, knees or thighs. Exhale, plant your palms and take it back, maybe through a flow. We're gonna end up on our bellies though, so whatever feels like the most natural way for you to get there. Good, and as you find yourself belly down on the floor, maybe you're stretching your arms out to the sides like a T, or you might even take your hands and stack them like a little pillow for your head. Nice. Yeah, your head could turn to one side or the other. If you find yourself tensing your feet, your thighs, your glutes, let them be soft. So pretty much all the work is done. All of the things that require a large amount of muscular effort, attention to balance. Taking a moment to reconnect with the ground underneath you. To remember the importance of that connection. And I want to invite you into a back bending practice that could look so many kinds of ways. If it were me this morning doing this, I would probably hang in a Sphinx pose for quite a while with my elbows under my shoulders. And if you're feeling like activating a locust is, it's never a bad idea to strengthen your back. I know Annie likes to talk about that too, how it's always important to remember the back plane of our body with some strengthening poses. So in locust, your arms are just alongside you and you're lifting. But if you're here in your Sphinx, let your head be soft, let it hang down. Softening your edges just a little bit. Good. Softening your tongue, the corners of your eyes. Just for now, nothing to really focus in on, nothing to say. And turn your attention in to the contents of your mind for a few breaths. And casually observing. Yeah, maybe 5 more breaths here in your Sphinx pose. Oh my gosh, I love that your cat is also sphinxing with you. That's so great. Yes. Awesome. And then go ahead and just set yourself back down. Yeah, your chest reconnects with the floor. Bend both of your knees and point your toes up towards the ceiling. And just a little bit of like intuitive movement, rocking those lower legs side to side, or maybe taking them around in like really generous sweeps, like big half circles or whole circles. Yeah. Feeling the front of your body lift and connect and lift again. After you leave, what does it feel like to come back? Good. Great. And then you're going to set the entire left leg down behind you nice and heavy and keep that right knee bent, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling and drawing your heel down towards your sitting bone. You might also reach back for your ankle with your hand or use a strap or a belt or something to grab a hold. Good, finding space through the quadriceps on the right side. And again, your psoas, that deep core muscle. That muscle that gets so much use. And let your breath be as it is. Just observe it. Here you are, another 3 breaths or so. Good, and then go ahead and set that right foot down behind you. And it might feel nice to prop yourself up into another Sphinx or take a locust. Good. If you take your Sphinx pose, maybe you want to bend both of your knees too and bring your toes up. So it's a Sphinx with your toes pointing up. Good. Good. And this practice of compressing the lower back is kind of a critical practice because there are so many points in that area of our body. It is rich with all sorts of energetic endings and beginnings. And so taking time to notice the way the lower belly interacts with the floor and the way the sacrum sort of interacts with all of that, how your glutes engage and disengage. Nice. Yeah, a few more deep breaths here. Awesome, everybody. And then, yeah, go ahead and set yourself back down, and just in your own way, you can find that quadricep stretch on the left side. Awesome. Yeah, reaching back for that foot or just pointing the toes up. Nice. Beautiful, everybody. Yeah, just a handful of breaths here. And then from here, go ahead and release. And we're gonna find our backs, which might be you like log rolling. It might be you coming back to child's pose and then turning around and lying back down. Yeah, again, there's really kind of like no wrong way to find your back. Good, and then as you find your back, we're gonna take a couple of supine twists, and there's no real instruction here besides finding something that feels comfortable, right? You can drop your knees over to one side or the other, it doesn't matter where you begin. And then as you bring your knees over in that direction, notice what your shoulders are feeling. And sometimes it's helpful to scoot the shoulders over towards the knees a little bit, towards that side. Maybe the other way. Yeah, giving yourself the space to be patient and kind of wiggle into it at your own pace. And then once you find the pose that feels like the place to stay, just apply your breath, your conscious breath to it. Good. Here for 7 breaths more or so. Good. Unwinding in your own way, the way that feels the best to you. In the middle, you might do a balancing act, a little something, maybe a bridge pose or knees to chest or stretching those legs out long, feet towards the ceiling. Yeah, maybe just for 5 breaths or so here in the middle, honoring your need for movement or stillness, seeking to find neutral ground. And then in your own way, making your way into the twist over on the other side. And scooting your shoulders, bringing your knees closer to the chest or further away, and making those arms extend out or fold in depending on how the shoulders feel. Good. Head in any position so that your neck can feel at ease here. And your deep breath into your body on this morning. Good. Just a couple more breaths in and out. Good. And then from here, just making your way into your final pose, which really, I mean, this could be anything. Trying to do your best to break free of the idea that there's any one way to do a thing. Yeah, maybe you want to finish as we began in that restorative bridge pose, or maybe you want to roll onto your side and curl up. Maybe you're in seated meditation. And just acknowledging yourself this morning. And from wherever you have been, calling yourself back. Being full, your body nice and heavy. Good. And I just want to read a little piece out of the Tao Te Ching, which I posted this morning, and I just super love this one. It's chapter 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting, she is present and can welcome all things. Not seeking, not expecting, she is present and can welcome all things. Okay, and from this pose, wherever you are, think about your breathing becoming a little bit bigger, perhaps. A big, big exhale, emptying out. A nice, easygoing inhale, filling you comfortably. Yeah, and then the movements that accompany that bigger breath. What are they in your body? Maybe it's a little habitual wiggle of the fingers and toes, or maybe you want to do something different today. Good. Yeah, all those small movements turn into something bigger until eventually we all sit up. Unless you don't want to sit up, and that's great too. Maybe you want to lay down and take a nap. Maybe it's that kind of day. Good. All right. And just taking a moment to just sit up nice and tall to bring your body into an alert position. And let's take the hands and we're going to place them on the heart or the throat. Hi, Gwen. Oh, I'm so happy to see your face. Good. As you lift the heart up into your hands, and just allow your face to become kind of soft and at ease. As you breathe out, drop your head down towards your heart, honoring this time you spent practicing and honoring each other too. Oh, yay. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday.